Hello everyone. Quickly give an overview of the brick wall project. Recall that there are three pillars to it. The Y-DNA project, which is the backbone driven by the big Y piece. The Ewing ancestor project over GEDmatch, which is the autosomal DNA piece of the project, and then the most distant known Ewing ancestor project. This is identifying all the most distant known Ewing ancestors. Today, we'll quickly review the features of my desktop relational database and see if there's any of you out there that are interested in sharing it and hopefully help maintain it. It has two primary components. First and most important are the members, what are labeled members in the database. And they come from the Y-DNA project, the GEDmatch project, the WikiTree Ewing genealogist, other Ewing researchers that I communicate with, EFA members, and some of the Clan Ewing Facebook group. But most importantly, it's made up of the DNA matches. And the second component is the Ewing ancestors. The Ewing ancestors are a little over 8,000 Ewings that I have in my genealogical database, many of which are indeed the most distant, meaning they have no known parents. And obviously some of them are brick, by definition will be brick walls. And many of them are shared. I think that says shared. It looks like shored, but they're shared ancestors of the many members. And the members, right now I have about 1,800 members. So 1,800 members, 8,000 ancestors. The desktop application is entirely a menu-driven application, meaning you don't have to know any computer skills at all other than pushing buttons, pushing icons. This is the main menu. Everything revolves around. On the left-hand side, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 different tabs: members and matches, most distant known Ewing ancestor and terminal, DNA, and the like. So the next few minutes, 10 or 11 minutes, we'll actually click on the buttons and you can see the reports and screens, and most of which is self-explanatory. I'll add a little commentary, but not much. So here we go, live. On the right-hand side there, you can see, or left-hand side now, we're looking at the most distant reports, and here's all the stuff related to DNA. There will be an immigrant and veterans component to it, and a pretty extensive library attached. And we'll look at each one of those, or many of them. The primary form is the main member form. Here we have an example. Most people don't know it, but my great-great-great-great-granddaughter married Iberius Kirk, and that was Captain Kirk's grandfather. Anyway, what you're seeing here on the left-hand bottom corner are all of the folks who share DNA with Captain Kirk. So those are other members that are sharing DNA. So it's a pull-down menu from the list of the 1,800 members. I'm going to use Kathy Sexauer a lot. I've asked her if I could do that, and she said yes. And so going through it, over on the right-hand side, all the URLs associated with Captain Kirk. They could be from Facebook, from genealogy, MyHeritage, etc. His emails, phone numbers, addresses, how we're connected, meaning that you may share data on any of those websites. A lot of information. I won't go over all of it. I'm trying to give you an overview. So many different places where you can be connected. There is who his ancestors are. So you can add not only your most distant known Ewing ancestor, but you can add your dad, your granddad, your great-grandfather, your grandmother, whoever you want in the ancestors list. Normally, it's designed to have only your most distant. However, if it suits your needs, add as many as you like. Over in the left-hand corner, you just saw me add another DNA match. So here we've got a list of all of the members, the 1,847. You can see that down in the lower left-hand corner, record count. I'm going to search for Kathy. Again, I'm going to use Kathy Sexire. You can click on her record and then get her member form up. You notes what her kit numbers are, who has shared DNA. So Kathy and I we share, we don't share DNA, but we share DNA with other folks. You noticed I just clicked on her URL for Ancestry, and now I'm clicking on her Facebook. You can put as many websites that take you to the member as you know. In the middle, you'll see her ancestors. The only really one is she's a descendant of Robert of Redford, the brother of Charles. The two brothers in chapter 42 of Fife's book called the Forgotten or Left Out Ewings. Here you see his data. That is his children. Some believe that his father was Finley of Burt. Some don't. And then over here are the progeny that are members, some of which are my DNA matches, and some are from the Y Project, and that's the coding you see there. So you can click. Those are all folks that are either my DNA matches or a member of the Y DNA Project. Down below you can see the reference documentation. There are some 240 documents relating to Ewings in the database, characterized by groups. Group 90 is all the major works. Fife's book, James Event. You got a warning that says, hey, make sure you trust whoever you're getting this from. And there is the Robert in chapter 42, the Ewings who were left out. So it's neat to be able to add reference materials to as you find them. I obviously have not captured all of the Ewing references. There's only 200. I've only got 240, and there's probably 10 times that many or more. The 800 series is the history about Ewing, especially the name itself. Here's an article by our commander Thor. Group 100 is specific genealogies of individual persons, or groups of family groups. 125 down there at the bottom is mine, written by William Sproul. So you can add, and some of the documentation is really low level. Here we see pedigree charts, probably created in the 1930s or 40s, I don't remember. Uh, so anyway, whatever record you'd like to add to the 204, you can also do that. There is, you click on that, and then there's a form that allows you to add. This is the details of that document. Was published in 1876. It's got 207 pages. It's a complete document. Back to the total listing. We 950, group 950 is technical. In this case, evaluating the evidence, genealogy evidence, and how to evaluate it. So I think you get the flavor. So everything is clickable. I just clicked on one of, I clicked on the father, Finley Abert, and now we're seeing Finley Abert, and there is one person in the Y project who has a big Y that is a descendant of Finley Abert. So you can click on fathers and children and go to their details, and here you can see I've got DNA matches with Charles of Bedford, the brother of Rodford. We had Robert on there earlier, so you can go in and add whatever reference. 92 we know is chapter 42. We know that for sure. There are many others. I haven't populated every single one of them. Hopefully, if you guys are interested, you can help me do that. There's a listing of all of the Ewings in WikiTree. Some of them are listed as genealogist, Ewing genealogist, and that is a distinction if you join WikiTree and provide Ewing as a primary area of research, then that creates a Ewing genealogist. So you can look at all those. You can go to their website and look at them. Here's the Y members. Two types of Y members. I got a problem with this. I'll have to fix this form. Two types of Y. One is the males who have had Y DNA, and then there are also other members of that project who have joined through autosomal DNA. Here we're looking at the Y DNA results. You can group sort. I just did a pull down on group 1I, which I belong to. Or you can go in and say, give me everything equals 2A, or does not contain 2A, or you can search a name, you can search on a value of any specific STR. So there I'm looking for any 23 on that specific marker. I hope you get here's the list of the JED match over on JED match, all the 100, and I think we're up to 165 now kits. I click on that one. Happens to be a DNA match of mine, the brother of my second grandfather. This is a descendant of my second grandfather's brother, which would make him my second great grand uncle. Those are the folks up there who also share that same DNA. I'm going in here and adding that relationship, second great grandfather. Obviously you can add whatever relationship it happens to be. If I can find it, second great grand uncle, okay. Click, you can add the resources again. Those are the 3 DNA matches who also have Arthur as back again to the, so from the member you can click on the shared DNA match. In this case, William Shatner shares DNA with me, takes me to my homepage or my web page. And one of my websites that I maintain is History and Genealogy of Joseph Ewing, which has, by the way, all the Ewings that I know. All the 8,000 Ewings are in there. You can go and click on the ancestors. This Joseph happens to be a brick wall. You can look at the descendants. You can also use this site to get the person ID. That's where I get the person ID that you've seen. Hopefully that doesn't show up. That ding doesn't show up. Here is the brick wall site that's almost ready to be released. It won't be nearly as robust as the desktop, but it is tied to the desktop. So if someone makes changes on the website, then it updates your files that you would use on your desktop, and vice versa. If you update your desktop, it updates this file here that everyone can see at the website, if that makes sense. So I have a bunch of different places where I have I belong to 5 or 6 different Facebook groups. So I don't know what I'm doing next. Let's see. I think I'm going to click on Ancestry. All right. So this takes you, in my case, I put in my DNA matches. It takes me to my DNA match page. You could put in my profile page or whatever page you want to put there for me, if any. Here's my art. I'm a painter, not an artist. There's a difference. Those are my DNA matches, or some of them. And in the middle, you see the 2 ancestors. One is my 2nd great-grandfather, and the other one is my 4th great-grandfather. Back to the main page, we have immigrants and veterans. The only veterans I have in there right now are Revolutionary veterans. You can do searches looking for anything with VI, Virginia, or any name that has VI in it. It has a link there that takes you to a document. All those documents, I think, are Ancestry or threefold. I don't recall. Anyway, it takes you over there, and you can save it. If you have an account with Ancestry, you can save it to your desktop or anything you'd like to do with it. We're showing 16 because we have that filter on. There are 55. So you go over and refresh, that puts all of them back in. So there's all 55 Revolutionary War Ewings. Major Ewing, our EFA member who has the Ewing Warrior Project, is helping me keep this up to date. Feel free. You'll be able to, in the future, select by war. I have all the wars listed there, so you will be able to find the veterans by war. Here are war records. All the National Archives sources for war records. Again, we're back to group 90. So it's a little redundant. I forgot I'd already put that in there. Anyway, it takes you to books. In this case is Nancy Hanks Ewing. But I think you get the gist of it. There's also a login for admins that can go in and change code and stuff for those who feel comfortable. So that wraps up. If you're interested, let me know and we'll get you set up. It's free. If you don't have Microsoft Access, you can do it's called a runtime. It's free. You don't have to pay for it. And as you can see, you don't need to know any programming at all. You simply click and point and click. You would have to do some copying and pasting if you wanted to update URLs or such as email correspondence, telephones, addresses, that all the stuff that you can add. If you're interested in helping me maintain this and you'd like a copy of it, shoot me an email at either one of those email addresses, and I'll get back to you shortly. All right. Thanks a lot.